your college didn't had that environment, so how did you started with competitive coding?
So I started looking for really complex or hard to find resources. So the first video I had on algorithms was persistent segment trees.
Some don't know that you left your job in the last year, later part of it, and you left Uber to do something of your own.
So I knew I have to leave. What is the right time to leave became the question instead of will I leave? Now when you're going to restaurants, you're thinking about the bill a little more than earlier.
Hello everyone. So today we have amongst us a software engineer, a YouTuber, and now even an entrepreneur. If you are in college and you have done competitive coding, you will obviously have heard his name, watched his video. Today we have amongst us Mr. Gaurav Sen, also known as GKCS. So hi Gaurav, how are you?
Hey love, how's everything? And thank you so much for having me on this show.
Yeah. So thank you for coming. So let's start with your little early life and talk about your college. So you're from a college which is not that popular, and I wouldn't be wrong if I call it a tier 3 college. But you still managed to work in some big name companies. Like you started off with Morgan, you shifted to Directi, and then you worked in Uber also. So if we talk about these companies, we will obviously know that you have pretty good competitive coding skills. So did your college, being a tier 3 college, had a competitive environment in that?
During my time, there was no competitive programming environment. Like pretty much everyone used to prepare for interviews by reading subjects and also preparing a little bit by aptitude tests. So they would study for GMAT or GRE or whatever be the case. Like most of the people used to study for CAT at that time. So they had their aptitude tests cleared. And once they would sit for the interviews, it would be technical questions which required core programming. But I was interested in computer programming after I got placed at Morgan Stanley. So JP Morgan came first. I got placed there. Then there was Morgan Stanley. I got placed there. And then I was like, I'm super happy. Like there's nothing to do really. So I don't want to do an MBA. I don't want to do I don't want to go to the US. So I have so much free time. What do I do with it? So there was the name GKCS actually comes from reading general knowledge and doing Counter-Strike. And computer programming was the other third thing that I was following. Like all three things, do whatever you like because it doesn't matter anymore. So, so that's when I started computer programming. But during my time, at least, most people used to read these blog posts, interview questions, or फिर उस तरह से solve करते थे. You would have your aptitude set up then.
Yeah, so I myself feel that I'm little blessed because my college had a competitive coding environment, and I know that how much that environment helps. So besides, like your college didn't had that environment, so how did you started with competitive coding? How did competitive coding came to you as a thing? Like you knew that okay, competitive coding exists there, and how did you started doing it, and how did you got better at it?
So it came to me from a friend of mine who was in IIT Kharagpur, Ashish Wasava. He's actually still a very close friend. The thing is, he used to tell me what's happening in the IITs, which was pretty useful to know because when we were in first year, we had done a little bit about C++ and Java, little bit of languages, not about anything serious, right? We just knew about arrays and lists and stuff. But they were talking about traveling salesman problem, which is a really big deal for us because we had just touched the language. So I tried to keep pace with them sometimes, like as much as I could in terms of programming sometimes. So I think in second year was the first time he told me about there is something called computer programming. I went to the site, I didn't understand anything. I just closed the tab and I was like, okay, ignore this. Then in fourth year again, after studying for my interviews, my algorithms became a little better. So then again, my friend Ashish, he said that there's something called computer programming. Why don't you try that? Because you can get better at it. And for some strange reason, he did mention that companies look for it. But at that time, it was not that big a craze. Like not everyone was looking for computer programming equal to algorithms, equal to job. I think Anudeep Nikanti really made the whole concept famous that, hey, you can do computer programming and get a job at Google Switzerland. It's like unbelievable for a tier 3 college guy sort of thing, right? So I was of the same year. So I passed the hype. And then later on, I saw that, oh, this is a big deal.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, most of the competitive programming it was after college, like the major part of it, you getting better at it.
Not after college, but after placement. So we got placed in semester 7 and semester 8 was the last semester. So 8th semester, I was doing majorly computer programming. In fact, even in 7th semester, the later half of 7th semester, there was this attitude of there is nothing more to do. Like BE project mein kar dunga wala attitude. And there is no other aim I have as such because I have the top placement with me anyway. So why not just do things that I like to do? So programming is something I do generally like to do, and that's thankfully it was one of the genuine things I later on realized that this is good to keep doing. So yeah. Otherwise, I could have also gone into baking or something like. It could have been a random hobby. It was a random hobby, corporate programming, and luckily it worked out really well. So it's also to do with luck than a very intelligent decision made by me.
So then you were in software industry, then you also started off with YouTube. How the idea of YouTube exactly came to you? Like how YouTube was a thing to you?
Yeah, this is very interesting. I don't really know why YouTube of all things, but before that I had written some blogs.
Okay.
I used to write blogs for even before that I used to write posts. Right? In Code Chef, I used to solve some problems and then I would explain my method.
Yeah, so in the Code Chef tutorial part.
Yeah, in the editorial you put a basically a comment or a post. Yeah. So that's something I really liked because I could post it and then people would see it and they would say, "Wow, this is good. Okay. This was useful to me." Yeah. So I liked that bit. Then came the point that I started writing blog posts. But blog posts, I mean, if you have your own blog post, it's very hard to publicize it.
Yes.
But there was really no need for me to do that because I used to attach it to the same editorial. I think that just that in video form is what I wanted to do. And I also started thinking that very few people do computer programming in Java. During my time, there were even fewer people in Java because I think most tier 3 colleges, so to speak, focus a lot on Java. And I knew Java and I was one of the few guys who was still doing computer programming at that time. So I wanted to speak about computer programming in Java using software principles. So this was completely new. And I thought, let's post a set of videos which will help people like me who didn't know about Git, who didn't know about multi-threading, and still wanted to do computer programming. So that was the general idea. But later on, of course, it exploded for other reasons.
Yeah, and even
later on, people started asking about that. So algorithms, can you take a few algorithms for us? These are the tough ones. So I would get a lot of requests that, hey, do a full A to Z on algorithms. And I always found that idea stupid. Like A to Z on algorithms, why? You can read them on the internet. So I started looking for really complex or hard to find resources. So the first video I had on algorithms was persistent segment trees. Reason being that I wanted it to be something useful to people and also something which was unique. Otherwise, you can just go on the internet and read up on binary search or stuff like that. People have done it far better than me, far better than I probably can do it. So,
yeah, let me just interrupt you on this and tell me a little mind story that the first video I watched of yours was of persistent segment trees during college in my second semester. I remember there was a Code Chef long going on and there was a question and I was like, I had no clue of the question how to do it. But someone in my seniors told me like you can use something like persistent segment tree. And then I was like searching around the blogs and I came up to a blog of Anudeep Nikanti and I couldn't understand it a little bit. Then I came to your video and I found your video and I was finally able to solve the Code Chef long question during those 10 days. So your video was so helpful to me for that. And then I saw the most helpful video I found of your was like of the game theory one. The game theory video, the 3 videos I found it so helpful. And they have helped me and my team during ACM a lot also. Like they were awesome.
Wow. Thank you so much. This is like so inspiring just looking at you guys, honestly, because in second semester, you guys are doing persistent segment trees while I was doing it in the job. I was studying those things
but
while working.
It takes a lot. Like I think it's mostly due to the environment of the college. So I wish like all the tier 3 colleges and tier 2 colleges also develop this environment eventually because I feel competitive programming is growing a lot now.
Yeah. The playing field is leveling. I think one thing that we have to be very careful about tier 2 and tier 3 colleges, the students especially, have to start taking more and more responsibility on themselves.
Yes.
I know it is hard, but dude, nobody is stopping you as such. It's not that the tier 1 guys are stopping you. It's that you are unaware. I mean, at the end of the day, you can go on the internet and ask on forums and try to figure out the general idea of what's going on here.
Yeah, so even if I talk about like tier 1 colleges, so there is nothing done by administration, I think. There is also like students are only doing it only, right? They are building up the community and it has taken time for them also. And I feel if students invest time in it, it will eventually happen in tier 2, tier 3 colleges also.
For example, if you take NIT Raipur, I think their first successful, let's say, computer programmer, I forgot his name, but he's like super popular in NIT Raipur. He's he's younger than me. He's actually, but the thing is, he got placed in Amazon and he got placed in a few other companies, and then he brought in the culture of computer programming. So 2018 was the first year when he was like really focusing on let's get computer programming. 2019, I'm seeing, and every year when I'm looking at the students, I'm taking the same lecture, right? Like on you have prime numbers and you have your segment trees, simple yes and no's, but they're getting better and better every year. The same college, same year people, like the people who were in first year came to second year, they are better than the people in third year were in the same year. So it's amazing that what the culture can do, and culture comes from students. It doesn't really come from administration. I'm sure the dean didn't tell you that, hey, unless you guys do computer programming, unless you guys have some stars on this side, you're in trouble. No, exactly.
So most of the people who followed you on YouTube, most of them don't know that you left your job in the last year, later part of it, and you left Uber to do something of your own. So tell us something about that. What is you are doing right now?
What I'm doing right now is working on this product on system design, which I have been working on for about 8 or 9 months now.
Okay.
So the first 4 months was mainly researching the market, figuring out what do people want, what are people looking for, and then also asking myself like general philosophical questions like, hey, should this be free? I should put this on YouTube. Hey, should this be paid? Because it's so advanced and unique and custom that this thing should be paid content. Like if somebody is going to make something great out of this, then you should derive value also while you're giving value.
Yes,
while over here, basic concepts like load balancing, message queues, these things should always be, according to me, free. Because the whole point for me of this channel was to make the basics, like things that should be free, should be put out in it. Like computer programming, for example, like I don't want to ask people to give me money for segment trees because that information is out there. It's not customized, and I think college students should know about it. So I'll post it for free. So anyway, sorry for the philosophical things, but of course a lot of the research also went in the last 8 months. That how do you what questions should I pick up and what should I do? That's what I'm doing, basically. Unemployed in a good way.
So personally, I feel that leaving a job and doing something of your own is a big decision, and it takes a lot of guts to do it. So how you convinced yourself to do it, and how was that phase for you? And how long were you thinking of doing this, like leaving the job and doing something of your own?
Yeah, it's been a very, very long time. Actually, it's been probably when there was a time in Directi also where the thought crossed my mind. In fact, it was quite a few times. But then when I kind of gave myself a sort of a break before joining Uber, because I was thinking that should I seriously consider, pursuing teaching? That's what I like doing. But then I also realized that Uber is a very interesting company, and it's also something that you want to learn different things over there. You want to build different products. So I was a little more excited about that than teaching at that point. Eventually, though, at Uber, after 2 years, after rather 1 year, I kind of realized that I'm super passionate about teaching, and it's taking a lot of my not just free time, but it's eating into everything in my life. So I knew I have to leave. What is the right time to leave became the question instead of will I leave.
Okay.
And I spoke to my parents. They were actually very, very supportive. Especially my father, he was like, yeah, go for it. My friends were all convinced, like I was taking advice from everybody. But a decision though had already happened. It was more about like, when do you think I should? Not like, should I? So eventually, once you have decided, like it's impossible to stop. It's like they say in Inception, right? That idea grows on you. So
yes.
But it's a good thing. I'm actually very glad that I left and I'm pursuing this because it keeps me much more happy and it makes me doubt what I'm doing a lot less in general.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for most of the people, I feel like who want to do something of their own, the first question before leaving the job, which would come to their mind is like money. So how much money exactly do you make right now? Do you, in terms of money, do you like even regret doing it? Like, is the money even comparable to what you used to make at Directi or Uber?
So in Uber, you make a lot of money. Honestly, as SD2, you make a decent amount of money. Like,
yes.
I can't tell you the exact figures because it's company policy and company specific, but it's enough that when you go to a restaurant, you don't need to be worried. When you go to a clothing center, you don't need to be worried. You don't need to be worried in general. If you're buying a house, you'll need to be worried. Okay, that is always the case. But in general, most of the times you're not worried. That changes when you are being really doing well at YouTube. So YouTube is two things mainly monetarily. One is the ads, okay, which everyone posts, but ads is one part. The other one is where you are selling things, which I hope you find it useful. Like, for example, I was selling educator.io and Algo Expert courses. Right? I was suggesting people to buy it. And then once a person goes and buys that, you, for every sale, you get a particular percentage.
Yes.
Now, it's a very risky place to be in, because if you don't believe in the product, then you won't sell it the proper way. That is one thing. But people will lose trust in you.
Yeah, that's very true. Like, product actually needs to be good, what you're promoting.
Yeah, and indirectly you're tying yourself to that brand. So that is scary. So whenever I used to post anything about any product, I would actually read about it, check it out. So that would take time, but this number of sales you make is usually reasonable. You can survive easily with YouTube and this both milake. If you're talking about comparable, depends. It's not comparable actually. Uber pays a lot.
I truly know that.
But yeah, it is enough for you to survive. Obviously, now when you're going to restaurants, you're thinking about the bill a little more than earlier. But yeah, it's all right. Let's see where it goes. Hopefully, it'll get big. But
obviously,
right now, no.
Yeah, if you are into something, I feel like totally, it will obviously at some point get big. It just needs a lot of work, which you are obviously putting in. That's why you have left your job, obviously. So that's So
if anyone right now, like Love or you or anyone who's maybe thinking about, hey, why don't I do this full time? Okay, right now maybe you're not thinking about it because you're freshly joining your job. But let's say 5 years down the line, you go like, hey, am I going to take this full time? So my advice to you would be that check your savings. Like if you have savings, hopefully you have savings. That will give you a lot of confidence that I can go ahead with this. It matters. Savings matter. So don't go in Europe every 2-3 months.
So let's just do a little rapid fire round, a quick rapid fire round. I will ask you some questions. You can answer them quickly. Okay, so let's just start. Software engineering or competitive coding?
Software engineering.
YouTube or software engineering job?
YouTube.
YouTube or working on your course?
YouTube.
Uber or Directi?
This is a very hard question.
It's supposed to be hard.
I don't know. Like honestly, like both are good. I mean, I'm rapid fire. Maybe I'll say both are good. Both have some issues. Both have some awesome things about them.
Still, you can join only one. But what will you join?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's say I have a job offer from both of them. Okay. See, if it is my first job, then Directi. If it's my second, third job, then Uber. Which is exactly what pretty much happened to me.
Yeah, that's quite an interesting answer also. So if you had the chance to wake up as a different person, who would that person be?
I think Gaurav Sen is pretty good. Jordan Peterson.
That person is quite interesting.
Yeah. But I don't think I would have done justice to the experiences that he has had. So
one superpower you would love to have?
Not getting angry.
Oh, you are.
Although that is a stupid superpower, but or rather being able to manage my anger in a better way.
Oh, so you have temper issues. Okay.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, it doesn't look like on YouTube, does it?
Oh, it looks like you are the sweetest person in the world. You know. A place you always wanted to go?
Iceland.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place to go. So that's the all of the questions I had for you, like regarding your experience, and thanks a lot for sharing those experiences with us. So I hope every one of you who are watching this like this video. If you like the video, please subscribe. Gaurav, you tell everyone, like, everyone comes to the channel. I see the analytics. They watch the video, they don't subscribe. Maybe you telling them to subscribe will subscribe. They will subscribe.
Guys, if you have any doubts or suggestions, leave them in the comments below. If you like the video, then make sure to hit the like button. And of course, if you want notifications for further videos, hit the subscribe button. I'll see you next time.
So you heard the man. If you found the video helpful, like it, share it with your friends. Until next video, goodbye.